Thank you, James. Thank you for inviting me to be able to speak to you here. My name is Stefan Kampusch. I'm the CEO and founder of Aurimod. We are a Vienna-based commercial stage medical device company. And what we do is we developed a solution for auricular vagus nerve stimulation to help patients with chronic low back pain. And I'm happy to tell you a little bit more about this today. As you all know, chronic pain is one of the largest, most costly and underserved health problems of today, I would say. The scale is immense. Nearly every 20% of the adult population is suffering from chronic pain. It is not only pain, it is really affecting the whole life of those patients. They cannot sleep, they cannot do their activities, they are not able to work. A lot of them get mental health issues and their physical well-being is down. Even 20% of them develop comorbid depression, so it's a huge impairment for those patients and families. It's also often and clearly an economic burden for their families, the patients, and the health economics or the healthcare systems. Out of those patients, 9 to 12% of the adult population have chronic lower back pain. This is the first use case we're targeting with our company. And it is also the most debilitating disease nowadays, with the most years lived with disability. The costs are overcoming costs of diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and cancer combined. Thank you very much. And today's pathways, that's painful truth, are often very delivering small effects very late in the patient pathway. There is, especially in Europe or in Austria and other countries in Europe, not a good system of guideline concordant pain management. So patients do not get guideline concordant pain management like an interdisciplinary multimodal pain management. Often they get oversubscribed with medication. They do self-medication with painkillers or other substances. And also often they get unnecessary surgeries for their low back pain, which is not indicated. And this affects surely the whole healthcare system and those patients. We with Aurimod are set up now to challenge that, and we have developed Vivo, a small wearable device, I have it with me today, which is put behind the ear, sticking here on the muscle, and we use 3 micro needles, which we put in the pinna of the ear to target the auricular branch of the vagus nerve. It is an outpatient procedure. Patient comes in, gets the device attached, takes 5 to 10 minutes, and then can go home and wear the device for 7 days continuously and gets a specific electrical stimulation of the vagus nerve. What we can reach here is really a bridging technology between multimodal pain care, including physiotherapy, medication, education, and invasive technologies on the other side, or surgeries. So we can get the patients a little bit earlier into this kind of neuromodulation technologies. Typically, patients get a 6 to 8 weeks treatment interval with 6 to 8 devices. So all of those devices are single use for 1 week of treatment. And then they develop a pain reduction, improvement in well-being, reduction in medication intake, and they often also have a sustainable pain reduction even after stopping the treatment for several months or longer. We use a very unique triphasic stimulation bursted pattern, which is very comfortable for the patients because they have to wear it continuously over several weeks, and which also allows us to homogeneously stimulate the whole area we are targeting where the vagus nerve is innervating the skin. The technology is very well tolerated and has a very low side effect profile. So patients like Anna, as I show here, who was a therapy refractory patient with myofascial low back pain for 10 months, was able, with only 4 weeks of Vivo therapy, to reduce her pain from a VAS score of 6 to 0. She was able to completely stop the opioid use and get back to work, which was quite an impressive case we were able to see. Talking a little bit about mechanisms of action, when we are looking into the analgesic mechanisms, it's actually 4 major mechanisms we are able to target. The first one is an activation of the descending pain control. So the body has the production of endogenous opiates like endorphins, enkephalins, dynorphins. We have a sympatholytic effect, which is clear when we stimulate the vagus nerve here. So patients get less stress, do less catastrophizing in their pain disease, and have a different perception of their pain and their situation. We have also a activation of anti-inflammatory processes like via the cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway. And all this together allows us to get these kind of pain-reducing effects and also long-lasting therapeutic effects. This is data from our first pivotal sham-controlled randomized controlled trial, which we did in myofascial chronic low back pain patients. All of the patients we were treating here, it was 61 patients, split it evenly, 30 against 31 into a stimulation and a sham group. All were in average 7 years of chronic pain patients, all on standard of care with a standardized medication therapy, including opiates. And we had as add-on the vagus nerve stimulation or the sham treatment. As you can see, it was quite a successful pain reduction on the VAS score within 6 weeks of treatment. And then also very important, after stopping the treatment after 6 weeks, we have a sustainable effect over a follow-up of 3 months where the patient did not develop additional pain. In average, in this study, in this patient cohort, we were able to show an 83% pain reduction within these 6 weeks. The opiate use was down 96% within the stimulation group. I'm talking about the rescue medication here of tramadol, and they improved their well-being and quality of life tremendously. Meanwhile, after this trial, we did several further randomized control trials. We also did analyze retrospectively real-world evidence from clinics in Austria, where we were able to see in this kind of patient cohort a responder rate of about 60% in those patients when they get treated for 6 weeks. And they were also able to have opiate sparing within these 6 weeks and after these 6 weeks. We have also now first guideline coverages in several guidances along Europe, especially in Austria, where it's already included in the guideline for the treatment of chronic low back pain. Recently, we were able to publish a meta-analysis with the Johns Hopkins University and the University of Wisconsin, which also proved the efficacy of this technology, especially in chronic back pain patients. And one of our latest and most important milestones as a company is that the Austrian Ministry of Health was issuing a health technology assessment and a budget impact model analysis on the technology, and they said that the technology is effective, safe, and cost-effective, and which led to a new DRG code in all Austrian hospitals. So we are reimbursed for this technology now in Austria in all hospitals, which gave us a huge leap this year. So, and this also is now following in other countries, which I will shortly introduce here. So as a company, I think we are at the stage where we can really scale. We are already commercial since 2021, but the real commercialization started now with the first reimbursed country. We have now a growth of about 400% in revenue from last year. So it will grow hopefully faster over the next years because we have already managed to get partial reimbursement in some regions in Italy within this year. We have NHS supply chain listing in the UK since few weeks. We have first coverage in Germany with different insurers. So it's now starting to roll over out of Austria to other countries. Till now, we are servicing about 10 countries in Europe with the system. More are coming. The device is on the market since 2021. It's a CE mark device, no FDA clearance yet, for according to MDR. For the FDA or the US market, we foresee a go-to-market in 2027. And we're now scaling very strongly in Europe. We were able to treat about 800 patients over the last three and a half years. And on the long run, to sum up, we see Vivo and our technology as a kind of a platform technology. As you can imagine, there are more pain indications we can dig into. This was really our first use case where we saw the strongest clinical data till now. We have studies ongoing in endometriosis, obviously in back pain indications, but also in migraines, where we hope to go in the future. And on the device side, we're developing the second generation, which will be technologically a little bit advanced, which will also allow us to get easier clinical adoption and to broaden our scope. This is our team. For management team, all experts with decades of experience in medical devices, neuromodulation, and also in the pharma industry. Two of those are here with me today. I'm very happy about that. Manuel is here, our Chief Commercial Officer, and also Laurent, who is leading our internationalization efforts and helping us to get out there, out of Austria. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Oh, Jordi, you have a question. Go ahead.
You showed an effect of pain relief after the stimulation was off for a while.
Yes.
What is the memory element that keeps the anesthesia going? What is that mechanistically?
That's a very good question. So we think that we are targeting here mostly nociplastic pain, right? So it's pain which is chronic, although there is no traumatic injury anymore. There is no kind of prolapse of the discs or something, and there's also no neuropathic pain. So it's this kind of classical unspecific low back pain. And what we do here actually is we have some neuroplastic effects which change the processing of the nerve signals and also the processing of the pain per se. And this seems to have this kind of effect, right?
Hi, this is Ludovica Labruna, CEO of Magnetic Tides. How do you target vagal nerve stimulation for different applications? So like we know that it's been used for targeting the brain. How do you know that when you stimulate, you don't stimulate the brain and or you go to the lower pain? There is different frequency. How does it work?
Yeah, there's a lot of research ongoing on where to stimulate exactly and how to stimulate with which kind of stimulation patterns. So everybody is doing it a little bit different. There is a lot of physiological knowledge already on how the ear is innervated with which nerves, the vagus nerve, the trigeminal nerve, there are cervical nerves coming to the ear, right? So we figured out our specific approach, how we put our needle electrodes in specific areas to get most of the vagal fibers activated. How we can show this is with fMRI, right? Seeing which brain nuclei are activated with different kinds of stimulation patterns. Does this answer your question?
Iran Benjamin from MST. What's the difference between you guys and the Spark Biomedical?
Alejandro will tell you probably. No, it's so we have needle electrodes, so that's a difference, right? We go minimal invasive through the skin, and we have a wearable which, because of that, can do stimulation with less energy. So we need less voltage, less current to stimulate the nerve and can make the device smaller and wearable. That's one issue. Second, we target different indications, I would say, right? Especially the chronic low back pain indication. I don't know if this is in focus for Spark. And yeah, with this kind of approach, we have a very intense kind of stimulation. I don't know exactly about the Spark device, but in our case, it's 18 hours of stimulation a day with 2 hours on, 40 minutes pause. So we have quite a long period of stimulation per day with low frequency, 1 hertz of repetition of our bursts. Okay? These are some differences.
I bet we're going to hear more about Spark from Alejandro later on. But thank you very much. Any last quick questions for Stefan? All right. Well, thanks.